Today we'll be learning about Kho Kho. History. Kho Kho is probably derived from the different strategies and tactics of the Kurukshetra war in Mahabharata, the Indian epic. Modern game of Kho Kho was formed by Sri Hanuman Vyayam Pracharak Mandal, Baroda in 1929. Measurements and specifications. Total area of field including the lobby 32 meters by 19 meters. Dimension of playing field including the lobby 29 meters by 16 meters. Lobby 1.5 meters on all sides to playing field. Free zone area 2.75 meters by 16 meters beyond the pole line on both the sides. Pole specification. 2 poles of 1.20 meter height, 10 centimeter thickness and 2.3 meters away. Sitting block area squares 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters, cutting of cross lane and center lane. Cross lane 30 centimeters by 16 meters. Distance between cross lane 2.50 meters near pole and 2.30 meters in others. Match duration. Total 55 minutes. 2 innings where each inning has 2 turns of 9 minutes duration with an interval of 5 minutes in each turn and 9 minutes interval in half time. Officials: 1 referee, 2 umpire, 1 scorer and 1 timekeeper. Number of players 12, 9 playing plus 3 substitutes. Tie rule: time noted and compared for 1 player in additional inning. Terminology. Attacker. An attacker is a player who pursues runners with a view to tag and touch them. Chasers. The players of a team who sit in the squares to chase and touch the opponent with shoulder line parallel to the boundary line. Contact in. If any part of a player's body while going outside touches the play field, he is declared contact in. Contact out. If while entering the play field a player touches the ground outside the playing area, he is declared contact out. Entry. A runner is said to have entered the limits as soon as he loses the contact with the ground outside the limits with his feet and comes in contact with the ground outside the field with his feet. Extra period. Any period played after the end of a regular game in order to break a tie is called extra period. Fake Kho. In such Kho, the chaser pretends to give Kho but actually he follows the runner. Free zone. Area by the side of the pole lines where the runners and chasers can move in any direction. Kho. The call Kho is said to be given when an active chaser utters loudly and distinctly the word Kho, which means go or chase, simultaneously touching by hand a chaser from behind him. Limits. The side lines and end lines which surround the playfield area. Lobby. The area surrounding the limits of the playfield. Out of limits. If a runner loses contact with the ground inside the limits, he is out of the limits and is declared out. Posts or poles. 2 strong wooden posts fixed firmly at the sides of playing field of length 120 centimeters and circumference 10 to 30 centimeters. Runners. The players of the opposing teams who defend themselves from being touched by the chasers. To take a direction. When an active chaser goes from one post line to the other and after getting a Kho moves towards a particular post line. To leave the post. When an active chaser loses his hold of the post and goes beyond to leave the rectangle. However, if the part of the body of an active chaser is in contact with the ground in the rectangle, he is not regarded as having gone beyond or left the rectangle. To recede. When an active chaser going in a particular direction suddenly changes his direction or even part of his body touches the ground behind him. Latest and general rules. Each side consists of 12 players, but only 9 players can take the field at one time. The side of chasers score 1 point for putting out each runner. The chaser or runner has the option to end the turn before the expiry of the allotted time. The captain of toss winning team will have the choice of chasing or running. At the start of the game, the 8 chasers will sit in the squares facing opposite directions. No adjacent chasers should face in the same direction. The 9th chaser will stand at either of the posts. A runner goes out or is put out by the following means: if touched by a chaser, crossing the boundary completely, touching the seated chaser twice, or after receiving a warning for a similar infringement. Changing the face of the square or leaving it without getting a kho from the chaser is considered a foul. In case of a tie, additional innings are held and the time taken to put out the first runner in a knockout contest is recorded. Duties of referee or umpire. He is responsible for fair play in the match. He is the final authority on the rules and regulations from the start to the end of the match. Referee performs toss before the start of the match. He has the final say on every decision of the match. Duties of scorer. He takes notes of all the proceedings of the match in a chronological order along with the points gained, times, and substitution made. He makes a record of all the fouls made by each player of each team. He records personal and technical fouls separately. He maintains a score sheet with all the details of each player. Duties of timekeeper. He notifies and assists the referee regarding the time issues of the game. He is responsible for notifying a referee about the time at which each part of the match has to begin. This needs to be done at least 3 minutes before the actual start of the game. He shall start timeout watch for charged timeout. The timekeeper also keeps record of various times and situations when the match was paused and resumed. Fundamental skills and techniques. Diving. It is gaining spontaneous speed and energy to touch an active runner by the chaser. Tapping. This requires speed, balance, braking power, and perfect timing. By accelerating his speed, the active chaser covers the distance and by bending extends his hand to touch the heel of the defender nearest to him at the time. Sitting skills. There are 2 methods and type of sitting in the square. Bunch or bullet method. In this, the strong foot is always kept nearer the front line of the central line. The toe of the second foot should be near the middle position of the front foot. Palms are placed just outside the central and cross lanes, keeping the thumbs of both hands near the cross lanes and finger almost parallel to the central line. Looking straight ahead and keeping the body in a leaning position with the weight of the body on the front foot and hands. The chaser should always keep in mind not to touch the central line. Parallel thigh method. In this method, the chaser sits on his toes, keeping his thighs parallel to the ground, also completely raising his heels. The rest of the procedure is the same as in the bullet method.